Good morning. Welcome to CATEX-TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Monday, December 21st, 2009. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. It's 4:30 p.m. in London. In Hamilton, Bermuda, it's 12:30 p.m. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, you can phone in toll-free at 1-866-67-CATEX. Overseas, our AOL instant mail address is CATEX-TV. On this day in history, 21 years ago today, at probably about this time, Pan American Flight 103 was blown up by a terrorist bomb over Lockerbie, Scotland. 270 people lost their lives. Jane Fonda is 72 years old today. Figure that out. Reinsurance magazine is reporting that Nicole Loone, L-O-O-N-E, the chief financial officer of Liberty Syndicates, has resigned. Liberty has confirmed her resignation, but added that she will work out her notice period. It's not known where Loone is moving to, but a spokesperson said that the hunt for a new CFO at the Lloyd's of London unit of Liberty Mutual is underway. Now to our main news. In the United States and the East Coast in particular, the big news here is the snowstorm. A major blizzard over the weekend roared up the Atlantic coast, dropping about 2 feet of snow where we are here in Princeton, New Jersey. Millions of East Coast commuters returned to work today. The weekend winter storm dropped record snowfall. Did a number on the holiday shopping at shopping malls throughout the Mid-Atlantic region yesterday. Sales were down as much as 80%. The storm came up the coast on Saturday and Sunday and belted states from the Mid-Atlantic to New England, caused hundreds of delayed or canceled flights, widespread power outages, and treacherous driving conditions. The snow was blamed for at least 6 deaths. Despite its powerful punch, many people took comfort that the storm's timing could have been worse if it had occurred during the week. Many schools and offices were closed today in Washington, D.C. Federal agencies, in fact, are all closed. Bus service is running behind schedule. The Washington, D.C. Metro finally, about an hour ago, was able to open to all of its 86 railroad stations. Commuters in Philadelphia, which received 23 inches of snow, found it very difficult going. The Southeast Pennsylvania Transportation Authority suspended bus service on a number of routes. New York City, the subways functioned perfectly after clearing operations all night. The Long Island Railroad is functioning normally and seems to be a normal rush hour up there. Meanwhile, in Europe, a storm of some proportions hit the continent on Friday. And if you've been watching TV over the weekend, you know that some 2,000 people were stranded in the Channel Tunnel on the Eurostar train for hours. I can't think of a more claustrophobic event. Of course, the Eurostar runs from Paris to London, and French President Nicolas Sarkozy this morning ordered the head of the French Train Authority to get the Eurostar traffic moving again normally by tomorrow. Eurostar has suspended traffic between the two cities pending tests to determine what caused the 5 trains to get trapped. The service has now been interrupted for 3 full days, and at some point tomorrow morning they expect to have it rolling again. On Saturday, a strong 6.4 magnitude earthquake hit eastern Taiwan. It's the biggest quake of the year to rock Taiwan. Buildings were shaking for about 20 seconds in the capital of Taipei in the northern part of the island. There were no immediate reports of any serious injuries or damage. Japan issued a tsunami warning, so the Taiwanese were urging the public to stay away from the sea. The Hawaiian-based Pacific Tsunami Warning Center did not issue a tsunami alert. The epicenter of the quake occurred at 9:02 p.m. local time Saturday night. It was about 15 miles southeast of the eastern coastal city of Hualien. And we reported most of last week on the conferences in Copenhagen, and as you probably know by now, an agreement of some sort was actually reached. American press reports over the weekend indicate that at some point late Friday, President Obama literally barged into a meeting that was being held by the Chinese Prime Minister and the President of India, as well as a number of other people, and sat down at the meeting uninvited and worked with that group, including Chancellor Merkel and Prime Minister Brown and President Sarkozy, to come to some sort of an agreement. The outcome is not legally binding. It will fall short of reaching the 2050 global warming targets. However, it was an agreement of some sort. The Chinese delegation is calling the Copenhagen summit a success. The Chinese premier said he was happy with the agreement. Obama himself said that the agreement is a meaningful and unprecedented breakthrough. However, more time will be needed before the world will be able to come up with a binding treaty, as trust needs to be developed between developing countries and rich nations. This is according to the president. The Chinese are saying, we believe the agreement makes good contribution to the global fight against climate change, but it's still a long way to go. In the proposed agreement, which is yet to be accepted by more than 190 countries attending the summit, the Americans pledged $3.6 billion for climate finance from 2010 to 2012. The EU and Japan pledged $10.6 billion and $11 billion respectively for the same period in the proposed deal. That's actually more than what the United States pledged. Individual pledges on emissions reductions from both developed and some developing nations were reiterated, although no global goal was set. This is according to a draft reviewed by Dow Jones. The climate deal also recognized the scientific view that the increase in the global temperature should be kept below 2 degrees Celsius. One of the reasons that's being speculated this morning in the media in the United States that the President was only able to push as much as he did was because he's extremely wary of the fact that he has to get whatever is agreed to passed in the United States Senate. This is the same Senate that has had to go through a series of compromises to have a fairly well watered down health care bill finally looking as if it's going to come to a passage. But there's always the other branch of government to be considered. Meanwhile, some very interesting developments in Iran today. Over the weekend, the death of a very well-known Grand Ayatollah Hossein Ali Montazeri, died yesterday at the age of 87. Montazeri, along with Ayatollah Khomeini, was one of the founders of the Islamic country. Thousands of Iranian mourners turned out today for the funeral procession. Montazeri was a dissident. He was against the results of the presidential election this summer. The crowd is chanting death to the dictator, referring to President Ahmadinejad. The picture that we have here was smuggled out as a result of somebody's cell phone taken. Reporters from the West have been prohibited from Qom, where the funeral is taking place. Opposition websites are reporting clashes outside the deceased Ayatollah's home between security forces and mourners. The Ayatollah's death pushes the Iranian authorities into a difficult spot. They're obliged to pay respects to Montazeri because he's one of the patriarchs of the 1979 Islamic revolt, and he actually was at one time the heir apparent to Khomeini. However, officials are worrying that his memorials could become a new rallying point for opposition demonstrations. They have a big problem over there. The opposition leader, Mir Hussein Mousavi, who many people believed actually won the presidential election, attended the funeral today in Qom, along with another prominent protest leader, Mahdi Karoubi. Massive crowds are in the streets of Qom, and the regime is on full alert. The stock market is up about 102 points right now. We'll go to a word from our sponsors and come back with the rest of the news.